everyone. My name is Barbara Ann and I am the minister here at Eastern Old Parish Church. I'm delighted that you clicked on our church for your virtual tour of the Open Doors. And it's sad that the Open Doors weekend was cancelled because we do really enjoy people coming through our church to look at the various aspects of it and to look at the history and hear a little bit about the history of the church. But I hope you enjoy your virtual tour that we have prepared for you today. And just a little bit of information for you that I am only the 8th minister here in Eastern Old Parish Church since 1790. I mean, that is just amazing. And even if I stay here until I retire, well, I'll still be the shortest serving minister that the church has had. Enjoy your tour. God bless.
We're now in the centre of Forfar on East High Street, and this is Forfar Eastern Old Parish Church, built in 1790, as Barbara Ann told you. The steeple attached to the church is the property of the council, and it was built in 1815 to replace a much older tower. This tower holds the clock and the Langstrang bell, which we'll refer to later. If you look at the end of the building, you'll see an extension line running from the roof down to the ground. This we'll mention later. We're now inside the sanctuary. There's been a church on this site since the 13th century. The building, put up in 1790, had a beautiful ceiling and one of the largest unsupported ceilings in the country. The building was put up to accommodate 2,000 worshippers at the cost of £2,000. Originally, windows were small and highly placed around the walls. And then in 1887, the Thornton family donated the wonderful windows you can see now on the south wall. They were to commemorate Victoria's Golden Jubilee in 1887, and the left one describes the Old Testament story of Abraham and his son Isaac being offered for sacrifice. The right-hand one from the New Testament is Paul's journey to Athens. After World War I was over, the public of Forfar were determined to mark the memorial and mention the names of the fallen of this parish. Public discussion and vote was held as to whether an obelisk should be built, a plaque on the wall, or an illuminated window. And the decision was for this window to be put in, which was installed and dedicated in 1922. Designed by Ballantyne of Edinburgh, and it, with its partner window, contain 111 names in alphabetical order of the fallen of this parish. After the Second World War, it was decided to put in a memorial window to mark the names of those in the parish who fell. It was dedicated in 1949 and designed by Hamilton of Glasgow. There are 40 names on the window, and the depiction is St Andrew with his cross behind him. The window was plain originally, and this window put in where the door we spotted outside earlier. In 1899, there was a major redevelopment of the sanctuary. The extension we refer to outside was built on the north wall, and a massive Foster and Andrews organ erected on that wall. It cost £7,000 and was generously provided by James Duncan, a rubber plantation owner. A very kind donation, and it also involved removal of a central balcony and the changes to the two balconies at the side. The parish church of Forfar united with the East Church in 1977, and the window above the altar of the East Church was removed for safekeeping, while the building then continued to be a doctor's surgery. The session house here at the parish was rather small for the East and Old, and was extended upwards to 2 stories in 1984. The window retained from the east was then installed here in the south wall, depicting the Church of Scotland emblem of the burning bush. We're now in the chancel of the church, and at the front area we have this handsome oak communion table, dated 1899. And notice the relief carved in the front, the grapes from which we have the wine, and the wheat sheaf from which we have the bread as the communion elements. Dedicated along with the table were a set of chairs for the minister and the elders. Each year in early times the parish church was used for the kirking of the council, and this chair was used by the provost. The oak lectern also echoes the relief of grapes and the wheat sheaf, donated in 1937, and then the pillar of the font from 1935, with a beautiful silver christening bowl donated in 1906. We then move on to some of the artefacts on view for visitors. We have a handsome collection of session minute books, birth registers and death registers. They're not continuous, but they go back to the 1600s. Often families come to research their family tree. An offering box, the kind that was passed along the pews for the coins or tokens to go in. A cutting block for making small cubes of bread for the communion. And then communion plate, a handsome goblet from 1670 in silver, a silver flagon for replenishing the goblets, and a set of pewter plates. We call them the Carnegie plates, and dated from 1682. The Strang family were Forfarians who'd gone to Sweden in the 1600s, at the time of Charles I. And Robert Strang became a merchant in Stockholm, and he donated the great bell to his hometown of Forfar in 1657. And that's the bell that hangs today, ringing out the hours across the town. We have had many visits from descendants of the Strang family, visiting the church and listening to the bell. The last 5 years have seen a major transformation of our church. The Foster and Andrews organ, which sat on this wall, was in bad state of repair and was offered to any church who could look after it and reinstall it. A Polish church made the offer, which was accepted, in Grajewo, and it has now been transported there and is in the process of rebuilding in a huge gallery in a Catholic cathedral. This then gave the impetus for the major transformation. The gallery on this side of the church was removed and a wall built to separate off for a social area and an upstairs hall. When the organ was removed, the pulpit also, which sat on the north wall, on the south wall, was removed. Ministers over the years had always found that preaching from this pulpit position, they had to look to left and right to focus on the congregation. But now the minister's position is at one end of the sanctuary. In the transformation, modern equipment has been installed, media involving microphones and projector, and this flexible area can now be used for worship as well as concerts and other events. The removal of the East Gallery then formed this beautiful social area with kitchen premises for events, for coffee mornings, and any smaller events not needing the huge sanctuary space. This then leads through to other parts of the building, such as the vestry and secretarial area and reception. For the disabled, to reach upstairs, we have the lift, newly installed, which will give access to the hall above the social area and the session room, which we visited before. The lift then leads upstairs to the newest venture, an activity space equivalent in size to the social area below. This will have room for various events with a toilet block accessible from the session house and a meeting space in behind. The prospect of this for 2021.
Hello once again. I hope that you enjoyed the visual tour and the stories and the history of the bits and pieces that you witnessed there. So we hope that if you're ever in the Forfar area, we would love it if you came and visited our building. There is so much more that we could show you, so much more that we could inform you of, and our building and the people within it have such a rich history and heritage that we can pass on to others. And you know what? It's much better to actually feel things and see things for real. So please, if you're in the Forfar area, come in and see us, because we're just about, of course, to reopen once again. So I wish you and your families every blessing at this time. God bless everyone.